We are meant to call from out of the past stories, strange and weird.
Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre.
Stories of the supernatural, the supernormal, dramatized in fantasy, the mystery, the unknown. We tell you this frankly, so if you wish to avoid the excitement and tension of these imaginary plays, we urge you calmly and sincerely to turn off your radio now.
Welcome back to The Horror. Thanks for joining me this Saturday. We're going to hear from Creeps by Night this week, a series of 23 episodes that aired over the Blue Network from February to August of 1944. It also aired over the Armed Forces Radio Service's Mystery Playhouse. That's where this episode comes from. From July 11th, 1944, we'll hear The Six Who Did Not Die.
Good evening. This is Peter Lorre. Man kills passionately out of hunger or anger, out of fear or love. But man also destroys life coldly and impersonally, without rancor, unemotionally, and with but one purpose, to gain. It is of greed and murder that you hear tonight in the Mystery Playhouse. Oh yes, guilt has been known to lie heavily on the soul of the coarsest and unregenerate of human beings. And conscience is an unseen but terrible demon to those whose hearts are set in evil, exerting a grim and unrelenting power over their minds. Tonight our story concerns itself with a price of greed and revolves about a strange and almost fateful phenomenon that forced a man to stand ghastly trial before a jury of the dead. Listen as we tell you of Captain Bull Harrison and the six who did not die.
Far below the equator, where the blinding sun beats with fierce hatred on the endless surface of the sea, lie the lonely islands of the Gambier archipelago. There is no movement in the white, hot expanse of sand and ocean, no movement save the brief, fluttering excursions of flying fish and the few palm fronds that wave languidly above precarious footholds in the scanty soil. Barren and lonely are the Gambiers. And lonelier than most is the atoll of Mangariba, a strip of sand and gray coral rising from the sea like something foul and festering. For at high water, the tide sweeps over it, and retreating, leaves on its sloping beach all manner of snails and shellfish that, helpless, broil and putrefy under the blazing sun. No trader has ever visited Mangariba, for there is no one with whom to trade. And the gunboats of the Australian Territorial Patrol give it wide berth, for there is no one to watch. Only an occasional pearling vessel with its crew of native divers ventures within sight of Mangariba. Such a vessel is the sloop Nancy Hale, 4 days out of Sydney. A weather-beaten hulk with caulking oozing from her open seams, she lies at anchor in the lee of the island. It is sundown, and her small boat is returning from a day of pearl diving. The oars stroked by 6 dark-skinned natives, the Cockney mate standing in the bow. As the boat swings broadside to the sloop, the mate clambers aboard.
All right, Kamali. Make her fast to the stern cleat. And mind you don't lose one of those oars overside.
Me not 10. Now it is 10. Me do same work all time.
Go, blimey, stop your even babbling. I don't care whose turn it is. Make her fast and ship them oars. If it ain't done by the time I get back from seeing the captain, I'll take the eyes off you. And you mind what I say?
The filthy beggars always getting their ends up about something. Ain't one thing, it's another. I'd give £10 right here and now to be lifting a pint down in the Red Dragon Crawl. Blimey, I would. Instead of sweating me blood out in a million miles from civilization. Hi, Captain. Like as not, these 3 sheets in the wind. I'll take a look.
Who's there?
Keep your shirt on, Bull. It's nobody but me, Foggy.
Oh. Back already?
Well, it's been 10 hours under that blasted sun. Ain't that enough?
Close the door. How'd you make out?
Not bad. Well, you might invite a chap to have a nip of that there gin sitting on the table.
Go ahead. That's the last of it.
Oh, blimey, the last of 60 bottles we took on at Sydney. You ain't been bashful about drinking it, have you?
You got any objections?
Oh, now, don't be getting your end up, Bull. No offense.
While you're drinking, let's see what you got for you at 10 hours.
Well, no, I think we done pretty fair at that. Here's one, your eye. Smelling like a spot of Dutch gin to set a chap right. Oh, good at that. Too bad there ain't more of it for the all back to Sydney.
What makes you think we're hauling back?
I thinks we are, Mr. Addison. Fast as the old trouble takers. I thinks we are.
Come on, out with it. What'd you get? A handful of stinking seed pearls?
Seed pearls, is it not on your life? Give an eye to these, if you please.
Good Lord.
Not bad, eh, Mr. Addison?
Where'd you get these, Foggy?
50 yards southeast of Manga River in 2 fathoms of water.
You know what they're worth? God, they must weigh 50 grains apiece. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4,
8
5,
by my
6.
count.
That's right. 8 times 50. 400 grains. All perfect, too. Hardly need peeling. There's 1,000 pounds here, Foggy. Maybe more the way the market is today. By heaven, you're right. We are hauling back. I can do a lot with 1,000 pounds.
Ain't you forgetting something, Captain? As about me and the natives.
What do you mean?
Well, the natives get half the catch according to the agreement with their chief, and I get 10%. Well, figuring rapid and not intending to be accurate, I should say that leaves you £400, not 1,000.
Trouble with you, Foggy, is you don't know how to figure. Now, listen. When we took on this batch of divers, we never dreamed we'd run into a haul like this, did we?
Can't say as we did.
All right. We figured maybe we'd come back with 50 or 100 grains, not 400.
What are you leading up to?
How far can I trust you, Foggy?
Well, now, I'd say that all depends on how much it's worth to be trusted.
If we get what I think we should for those 8 beauties, your cut will be 300 pounds, $1,500.
God, blimey, enough to take me back to England in style, ain't it?
More than enough.
Well, it sounds most attractive. How do you plan to work it?
Right now, 8 people know about this catch. You and me and the 6 divers. Chances are there are plenty more pearls where these came from. Must be a natural bed. We got to fix it so's only you and me know the location of that bed. Savvy?
I ain't interested in the bed. All I'm thinking about is getting enough to ship back to England.
Okay, this is how to get it.
You still ain't giving me no details like it, if you understand what I mean.
There's nothing to it. We lay over here tonight. Tomorrow morning we tell the boys we're making one last dive and hauling back. I'll go along with you in the small boat so's I can mark the spot. I'll take a belaying pin with me. They'll all dive in pronto because they've been there before. And when they come up one at a time like they always do, wham! You get me, Foggy?
I get you, Bull.
Eat to it. We ain't going to no tea party.
You say no more dive. You say we go back.
Mind your babbling tongues, you heathen. We got the captain with us today. He wants to see how you dive. Ain't that right, Mr. Addison?
That's right, boys. This is the last dive, and then we haul back. Good catch this trip. Plenty gin.
For the likes of them as is left to drink it.
Shut up, you fool.
We make only one dive, then we going back.
How about that, Mr. Addison?
Yeah, one dive, Then you're through.
They like that. They're poor beggars.
Button your lip, Foggy, and tend to business. Well, we're southeast of Mangareva, about 50 yards off. This is the spot.
Close enough, I'd say. Shivers! Heave that anchor, Taru. Over with it.
Sure, this is the spot, Foggy.
As near as I can come to it. She holding, Taru? All right, let her swing with the tide, what there is of it.
Water slack. Okay, get him over, Foggy.
Here we go, boys. You first, Kamuli.
No dive. Me ear hurt.
He's got to dive.
Here, let's have a look at your ear.
No can see. Hurt deep inside.
Why'd you say something about it before we left the sloop?
Wait a minute, Foggy. I'll handle this. Come, Ollie.
Ear hurt bad, Captain. Very bad.
One dive won't do it no harm. I come out here special to see you and your boys go down. Tell you what I'll do. Anything you bring up this dive belongs to you. No split. All pearls yours. How's that? Well, what about it, Kamali?
No dive.
Stand up in the boat. Stand up, I said. Now, for the last time, Kamali, you're going to dive or not?
No dive. Ear hurt bad.
Well, maybe this'll cure it. Now, the rest of you get over and make it fast. Go ahead. That does it. They're over. Hold the boat steady, Foggy. I'll work the belaying pin as they come up.
What about this one, you slug?
Leave him be till we get rid of the rest. Hold steady now. They won't be staying down there long, I can promise you.
I got a funny feeling no good's going to come of this.
Stow your feels and keep the boat steady. That's all you got to do. I'll take care of the rest. One little tap of this belaying pin as they come up will be enough.
Here comes one. Right aside the boat.
Steady. Steady. That does for him. Went down like a rock.
Two more coming up.
I see him. That makes three. See the others?
Not yet. Water got roughed up in my... Hold on. Here they come. Two together.
That'll make it easy. Steady now.
Blimey, did you see the way them two's eyes rolled up? Like to send the shivers through me.
Give me a hand with this one and stow the gab.
What you gonna do with it?
Heave him over. Wait till I tap his skull to make sure he don't come to.
There ain't nothing finicky about you, is there, Bull?
Grab his feet. Lift him now. You're all right. Heave. Now, get that anchor up. The job's done. All neat and clean.
It ain't done for me. I'll be seeing them poor beggars' eyes rolling up for a long time to come.
You'll forget about it once we hit Sydney. There'll be plenty of gin and rooms in the best hotel in town.
All I want is to book passage on the first boat back to England.
Don't worry about that, Foggy. You'll go back to England a rich man. I got another idea. The money we get for those pearls is going to be nothing compared to what we end up with.
Now what's on your mind?
You'll find out. Get that anchor up. All set?
Right.
Bend two on the oars. We're going to be rich men, Foggy, you and me. Plenty rich.
£1,200 you got for them pearls, and me supposed to get my share, and I ain't seen a shilling, and I'm not going to now.
Shut up and open the door. You got the key?
No, I ain't got nothing for killing 6 men.
Pipe down, you stupid fool. Like to get us hanged? Here's the key. Open the door.
We're going to be rich men, Foggy, you and me. How's about that, Mr. Harrison?
Open the door, I said.
£1,200, and now we ain't got nothing.
Close the door.
£1,200 lost.
Stop talking about it. I've heard all I want to hear.
Oh, you have? It don't bother you that I ain't got no passage money, does it?
You think I figured on losing it? I had a system to beat that roulette wheel. Something happened. Didn't work.
I told you to stop.
You told me. What do you know about it? All I was trying to do was to build that stake up, make us some real money.
Yeah, now we ain't got nothing. gamble it away you did.
There's more where that came from. I've got 20 pounds left. Enough to pay for this hotel room, dock charges on the sloop, and provisions. We'll go back to Mangareva and get ourselves some more of them big pearls.
I ain't going nowhere near Mangareva. Not on your life, I ain't.
Why not?
Because it ain't got pleasant memories, that's why. I'm quitting. I know a rum deal when I sees one. 1,200 pounds left in a gambling house.
So you're quitting, huh? What makes you think I'll let you quit?
You ain't got no right to stop me.
No, I got a right to see that you don't open that big blabbing mouth of yours. I got that right.
I knows when I'm well off. I ain't doing no talking.
Maybe I'd better make sure of that.
Yeah, always one for making jokes, aren't you?
This don't happen to be no joke. We murdered 6 men back at Mangareva, you and me. We're the only ones knows about it. I think you better ship with me when the Nancy Hale pulls out in the morning. Yeah, I think you better.
I ain't shipping on no more pearl boats, and I ain't going nowhere near Mangareva. Now, that's final.
All right, Foggy. That's how you feel about it. Open the window, will you? It's hot in here.
It ain't a bit hot. You've been drinking too much.
Open it anyway. Thanks. Yeah. Nice view of the harbor from there, Foggy.
Pretty with all them lights blinking. Bull, how's about giving me half the 20 pounds you've got left?
Sure. Why not? Yeah. 2 5-pound notes.
Much obliged, Bull. If I wasn't so set on going home, what are you holding my wrist for?
You're going out the window, Foggy. You're going to fall out.
No, I ain't done nothing.
I want to make sure you won't do it.
Let go of me, Bull. Let go.
So long, Foggy.
Bull.
12 stories to the street. You won't talk now, Foggy. Not at all. Ease off on that jib halyard, Dave. More! Okay, reefer up. Stand by to heave anchor.
All right. You, Manu. Lend a hand with that winch. All right, let her go. Anchor down and holding, sir.
Make her fast.
Aye, aye, sir. Make her fast, Manu. What, sir?
Yeah, this is it. We stole the aye and the sir business, Dave. We ain't formal on the Nancy Hale.
That suits me all right. So that's Mangareva, is it? Ain't much to look at.
Best pearl bed in the South Seas right under us. Won't even bother with a small boat today. Work right from the sloop. Get the divers over.
Okay. Manu!
Yes, boss.
Get your boys over.
Oh, no good first. Me, headman, go first.
You'll learn, Dave. First dive's taken by the head man. These boys are new to this spot and won't go under till he comes up and says it looks clear.
Sorry. All right, Manu.
Got 8 beauties out of here last trip, Dave. You're gonna be real glad you shipped with me.
Manu, come. Manu, come.
Give him a hand.
Here you are.
Take boat out of here, quick. Bad water.
Shut up! What's the matter with you, Manu?
Me, dive. Go to bottom. 6 men down there. Dead.
You're crazy.
No, crazy. 6 dead men. They stand up like they live. My boys know that here. Bad water.
Hey, wait a minute, Manu. What do you mean there's 6 dead men down there standing up?
Like live, they standing up. But they dead.
That's enough from you. Shut up. Now the rest of you'll listen to me. You'll dive or I'll know the reason why. I came here to get pearls and you're gonna get them. There'll be no acting up on my boat. Dave, there's a diving helmet and lead shoes in one of the starboard lockers. Get them out. Test the air hose and the pump. Know anything about diving equipment?
Plenty, but I never went down myself.
You won't have to. I'm going down. I'll prove to these beggars there's nothing wrong down there.
Everything okay, Captain?
Yeah, just about touching bottom. Ease up on the rope a little.
Let the rope go, Manu. Easy. Easy. Take a bite in it. That better, Bull?
Yeah, much better. Keep that air pump and hand generator going.
Don't worry. Yeah, how's it look down there?
Can't see much yet. Gotta get used to it.
Lean forward when you walk. You need more rope?
It's okay. I ain't doing any walking. All I want to do is stay down here a couple of minutes and prove to those native beggars that...
Captain, what is it?
Hold me up!
Hold on that rope. What is it, Bull? What happened?
Get me up, Dave! Get me up! Now, don't come near me. No!
Rope stuck. No can pull.
It can't be stuck. Lay on it, all of you.
Dave! Hold me up!
We're doing our best, Bull. What's down there?
6 men. One who's right. They're standing in the water and grinning at me. For the love of heaven, get me up!
We're trying to, Bull, but something's holding you. What is it?
I don't know. My feet are sinking down. Maybe it's asphalt.
Oh, no. Lash that rope to the windows. Move fast.
They got me. I can't get away.
We're lashing the rope to the windows, Bull. We'll get you up now. Hold on.
No, let go. Let go. You...
No can do. Rope stuck.
Get back to that air pump.
Air. Gotta have air.
Oh, man the pump.
No. Captain bad. Stay in bad water.
Aye, you. Bull, they won't man the pump. We can't budge you. Bull.
You're stuck just the same as I am, aren't you? Stuck in the asphalt. That's why you're standing there grinning at me. You can't move.
Bull. Bull, listen to me.
Sure, I killed you. And I killed Froggy, too. I wanted it all for myself, and I'm gonna get it. Pearls, the biggest pearls you ever saw. They're down here all around me. I'm not afraid of you. You're dead. Dead, you hear me?
Bull, for the love of heaven, listen to me.
Pearls all around. Big ones. Go ahead. Grin, you dirty devil's grin. You can't beat me. You can't.
Captain Bull Harrison, a watery courtroom, facing his jury. The jury with good reason to pronounce him guilty of murder and greed. Poor Bull. Down there with the pearls he wanted so much, and the men he murdered to get them. Funny, isn't it? Or is it? Please don't go. Come with me to the green room where the players are rehearsing our next performance. Come. Come.
Hello? No, I'm not Pamela North. He hung up, as usual. Maybe I'd better practice up on my falsetto. In a hurry this time. Hello? I am not... Dead. Oh, the door. Maybe he didn't believe me. No, I'm not Pamela North.
Well, of course not. I am.
Hello, Pam.
Oh, I'm glad to be home, darling.
Wasn't the reunion fun?
It was awful. Everybody sat around noticing how much older everybody else looked.
Post-mortems, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Darling, is there a man in your life?
Of course, dear. You.
There must be somebody else. Because I'm pretty sure I haven't been calling myself up and asking me if I weren't Pamela North.
Darling, you're not well.
I'm in perfect health. Listen, some goon has been phoning every hour and asking for you. As soon as I convince him that I'm not you, he hangs up.
Well, that's funny.
Well, it's reasonable enough,
I
but...
wonder if it has anything to do with the little man.
What little man?
The one who followed me home.
Maybe I should have asked you about the men in your life.
Certainly, darling. The street was so dark and he was so gray, sort of, and indistinct. I ran.
Did he run after you?
I don't know.
I would have.
You did.
But you slowed up for me.
Oh.
You answer it. I wouldn't want to disappoint him again.
All right, darling. Hello? Yes, this is Pamela North. What did you... hello?
I know, he hung up. Probably thinks it's good, clean fun.
You know, darling, I am getting scared.
Nothing to get scared about. You're beautiful and... Near the window.
All right, darling. Wait.
Is that your little man coming down the street?
Yes, Charlie. He's looking up at the house numbers. I thought he was only a nasty little old man, but...
Come away from the window.
What are you going to do?
Call the police.
Oh, I may just be imagining things, Jerry. My imagination can't be that vivid.
May have been a car backfiring.
I know those were shots.
I'll take a look.
Jerry, don't you go near that window.
Relax, darling. No one could see me up here.
What is? The little man?
He's gone, too. Maybe that was a car backfiring. At any rate, most people would think so.
Darling, we've heard guns being fired too often.
Well, whoever fired those shots isn't there anymore. Neither is your little man. I sort of suspect he's disappeared from our lives. I hope.
That was our doorbell.
Uh-huh.
Let's make believe we're not home, Jerry.
It might be important.
That's what I mean.
I'd better see who that is. It's silly being terrified by nothing, Pam.
You can answer the door if you wish, darling, but I'm going to keep right on being terrified.
Well, if you insist.
Oh, no. No, I'm going with you. I want to be terrified in company.
All right, but get over to one side. I'm going to open the door.
All right, darling. It's the little man.
So it is. Won't you come in, please? Thank you. Shut the door, darling.
Uh-huh.
Are you someone or
Yes, I am. Jerry, he's ill.
not ill? Please, let me speak. They will kill you, Pamela.
You need a doctor. You better not bring yourself by speaking.
Must speak. Don't need doctor. Must speak. I heard them red line bar. Kill Pamela North. What?
He's falling.
I've got him. He collapsed suddenly. Hot rat. I'll lay him down here on the sofa. Get his coat open.
Shall I phone for a doctor, darling?
No. There's nothing a doctor can do for him.
Dead?
Chest full of bullets. Yes, he's dead.
Oh, the poor little man. But who...
He came here to warn you against a murderer, darling. But the murderer got to him first.
Well, what is all this, do you suppose? Why do you think anyone would want to kill Mrs. Pamela North? She seems to be a perfectly harmless young woman, don't you think? There must be a reason. Well, I'm afraid we'll have to wait for our next performance. Then our guests will be the famous amateur detectives, Mr. and Mrs. North. Oh, incidentally, they are interested in your reaction to our shows. So why don't you write to the Mystery Playhouse, Armed Forces Radio, Los Angeles, USA, telling us what you like or don't like or anything you care to say. Would you do that? We'd appreciate hearing from you very much. This is Peter Lorre, closing the doors of the Mystery Playhouse. Good night. Sleep tight. This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
That's it for this episode of The Horror. You can find more from Creeps by Night at relicradio.com alongside thousands of other old-time radio shows, past episodes of The Horror, all the other podcasts, and everything else Relic Radio. You can listen to our Shoutcast stream there, and you can donate if you'd like to help support this and all of the shows. It's how this is all made possible. Thanks to those who have helped out. Thanks for joining me today. Be back next Saturday with a story from Nightfall on another episode of The Horror.
Strange Tales.
RelicRadio.com presents tales of the strange and bizarre, the weird and the wicked. Stories not necessarily of the supernatural, but of the unnatural. Join us now for Strange Tales, featuring radio drama at its most mysterious and unusual. This is Strange Tales. Thanks for joining me this Sunday. We're going to step again beyond the creaking door for an episode from Inner Sanctum this week, a series that debuted over the Blue Network January 7th of 1941, created over 500 episodes until its end in October of 1952. It was created and produced by Hyman Brown, who also did the CBS Radio Mystery Theater 20-some years after this show ended. Our story today is from May 29th, 1945. It's titled Musical Score.
Lipton Tea and Lipton Soup present Inner Sanctum Mysteries. Good evening, friends. This is your horror host at the squeaking door of the Inner Sanctum. Come in, come in. Hang your hats on the torture rack over there and get cozy. Tonight, we've got cadenzas and cadavers, murders and melodies. Oh, well, that's all I can tell you now. No sense putting the cart before the hearse. Is there?
From the way you're talking, I guess we're going to have music on the program tonight. I think that's real nice.
So do I, Mary. I've always loved music. Even as a child, I used to play the death rattle.
Now, please, I'm being serious. You know, I once won a prize for playing the piano. Yes, they gave me a...
Wait, don't tell me. Let me guess. They gave you a lovely sterling silver medallion, didn't they, Mary?
No, they didn't. You know very well that the only way you can get that sterling silver medallion is from the Lipton Tea people. And, ladies, it's solid sterling silver, and it's just the right size, about an inch in diameter. It's the kind of jewelry you find at those smart shops on Fifth Avenue in New York. The medallion is decorated with a Chinese inscription, and it's hung on a narrow black rayon satin ribbon. It's just what you want to brighten up your simple silk dresses and your dressy suits. And here's how you get this handsome medallion. Just send 25 cents and the box top from a package of Lipton's, the tea with the brisk flavor, to Lipton Tea, Box 92. That's Box 92, New York City. Send for yours tonight.
Give me a pen, Mary. I'll send them a check immediately. And what's more, I'll write it in blood. There'll be plenty spilled here tonight. The title of our story is Musical Score. It's an original radio play by Christopher Mayle. And our star is Barry Kroger, who plays the role of Grasso. It's the story of a simple melody and of a killer who, as our story opens, is fighting desperately and alone against a raging storm off the coast of Maine. The lifeboat he is in is half foundered, and the man's wild rowing does little good.
I'm a murderer! A murderer! I kill to be free! And I am free! Free! Oh, am I? Did I do it all for nothing? Peter Tull and his wife. They were the first to go. Almost in the same spot. Tull, world-famous composer. Tull and that tune of his. He had all three of us on the life raft, crazy with it. That maddening tune. I can still hear him humming it. Still hear it. But the sea was calm that day. Dead calm.
15 days of calm. 15 days on a raft with a sick woman and 3 men. And that sun. Tull! Stop that blasted humming!
Sorry, Smythe. Just that Marcia seems to like it. Part of a symphony I'm working on.
It does get on our nerves, Tull. How is your wife?
I don't know, Grasso. Poor Marcia.
Yes. Yes, I know.
I'm hungry. Smythe, how about some rations?
Ah, that fat belly of yours. I told you before, even off, as chief mate, I run this life raft. We've got rations for 1 person for 2 days. The woman eats, we don't. Now forget it.
Well, we ought to be practical.
Smythe, what made the Santa Margarita go down so quickly?
I told you, nothing but a stray mine. It was Argentine registered, coffee boat, a neutral. That's all it could have been.
Oh, cut it out, will you, Tull? Or change the tune at least. I can't stand it.
Sorry.
We're done for.
Yeah, you may be a famous playwright, Grasso, but you don't know the sea. We're near the main fishing banks. We got a chance of beating a fisher we can hold out. Tull! Tull, will you stop that blasted tune?
Yes, for heaven's sake, Tull, quit it! What a trio. A perfume manufacturer, a playwright, and a sailor. We all wanted food. We all wanted water. Sleep. An end of Tull's humming. Well, I wanted all that more than the others did. Without Marcia Tull, I could eat a little. Without Peter Tull's song, I could rest. The 17th night it was. The moon painted us all in silver and black. The others slept. Tull had his wife's head cradled in his lap. I crawled over to Tull. How is she, Tull?
You know, I think she's getting better. She smiled at me a minute ago. My singing helps.
Go on, Tull. Hum. Hum your song. Hum, you little fool, for the last time. Hum. I cut off his infernal song, cut it off with my fingers, digging into the yielding flesh of his throat. He slumped over his wife's body. I closed my ears to her moans. I pushed them both into the dark water. I was a murderer.
All right. So Tull's gone. So's his wife. But they didn't fall off. One of the 3 of us murdered them. And it wasn't me.
I don't think you did, Smythe. I know I didn't.
You're voting 2-1 and electing me the murderer, huh?
Not necessarily, Grasso. It just looks a little like it.
How are you going to prove it? Who's going to believe you any more than they'd believe me? Ivanov was ready to murder for a crust of bread. For all I know, Smythe, you did it to sell Ivanov some rations.
Well, we hang together or we hang separately then.
Let's be practical about this, Smythe. None of us can afford to be mixed up in even the implication of murder. Suppose we have an agreement.
Huh?
Just in case we are picked up.
What kind of an agreement, Grasso?
Suppose we agree now and for all time that Tull and his wife simply died at sea and were buried at sea. On the 21st day, the rations were gone. And the song, we could all hear Tull humming it from the bottom of the sea. We watched each other like animals. On the 23rd day, a fishing boat picked us up, half dead, cooked alive. But we lived. I lived to fear and to kill again. Fear began with a little scene in the Portsmouth hospital where we were being treated.
Well, you got your belly full of food even now?
Yes. No more hunger pangs, Smythe. How about you, Grasso?
Pretty normal now, I guess.
Oh, by the way, a friend of mine, second mate on another ship, was in to see me yesterday.
Yes?
Yeah. They picked up a couple of survivors from the Santa Margarita before we were rescued. Not interested, eh? They were a man and his wife.
Well, don't be such a dramatic ass, Smythe. Was it...
No, not poor Marcia and Peter Tull, but the friends of theirs, the Abraham Davises. You know him?
Davis? The symphony conductor?
Yeah, that's him. Wouldn't he like to know about the Tulls, huh?
You've got a flair for the dramatic, Smythe. Sometimes it's dangerous to be so talented. I began to worry if both of them weren't ganging up on me. But days and weeks passed, and nothing happened. Only the Tull's melody was always with me, day and night. It kept ringing in my head, on and on and on. But at least I hadn't heard from the other two until one morning a letter came from Abraham Davis, the symphony conductor and dear friend of the Peter Tulls.
Dear sir, it has taken me this time to locate you three who were with my lamented friends, Peter and Marcia Tull, when they died at sea. I'm giving a reading from the score of Peter Tull's last symphony, my home prior to its first performance, and thought you might like to hear it.
Hear it? I didn't need a reading to hear it. But I'd have to be there. They would be. Maybe plotting to tell lies about me to Davis. Right then, I decided to kill them both. That way only lay freedom from anxiety. Murder would free me. Ivanov would be first. Yes. Fat, beady-eyed Ivanov. I studied their movements. Ivanov worked late at his office every Tuesday night. And on the second Tuesday of each month, the Halifax-bound cargo steamer San Luis left her New York dock. My plan was simple. It involved my waiting for Ivanov in his apartment house on the night of Tuesday, May 8th. My weapon would be simple, too. A common bread knife. Simple and so satisfying.
Good night, Mr. Ivanov. Thanks for the bottle of perfume. My girl's crazy about it.
That's yours. When you get married, I'll give you a quart of it.
Thanks.
I slid the knife from my sleeve and gripped the handle. Ivanov reached his door. His broad back was a leap away. I knew where to strike. You learn those tricks in my trade. An upward thrust just below the right shoulder blade.
It was you.
I watched him gasp out his last, feeling no remorse, no pity, just relief that I had nothing more to fear from Ivanov, at least. One more to kill, to be free. One more. I turned my back on the cooling mass at my feet and reached the street. I walked fast. I had only a little while to reach the docks and make my boat. Tull's melody kept beating its tireless notes against my brain.
Well, dear me and gory be. That's my idea of a real song plugger. Oh, speaking of music and murder, did you ever hear of the fiddler with a violent temper? He murdered his wife because she was always harping at him. Oh, yes, and because she had a cellist disposition, too.
You're certainly full of musical puns tonight. Good heavens, what have you got there? It looks like a Chinese gong.
It is, Mary. I got it from an auctioneer. You know, those fellows always say, going, going, gong.
Well, what are you going to do with it?
Oh, I've always wanted to kick the gong around. Besides, if you're going to tell that Chinese story about the medallion, I ought to accompany you on the Chinese gong.
Well, I'm not going to tell it in Chinese, so suppose you put that thing away. But, ladies, there is a story behind that sterling silver medallion that the Lipton tea people want to send you. And what's more, it's a true story. It seems that the original of this handsome medallion was given to an American flyer who was rescued by Chinese guerrillas after he'd bailed out over enemy territory. The flyer was told that the Chinese letters on the medallion would identify him and bring him safely through the lines. Well, he did get through. And only then did he learn that the inscription said, "Good luck," in Chinese. Now, there's a story to tell your friends when they're admiring your medallion on its smart black rayon satin ribbon. And to get this good luck charm, just like the one the flyer carried, all you have to do is send 25 cents and the box top from a package of Lipton's, the tea with the brisk flavor, to Lipton Tea, Box 92, New York City. How about hitting that gong now so they'll remember? Yes, that's Box 92 in New York City.
All right. Now let's go back to our murderer who's being haunted by a song. Remember what happened? A composer named Tull and his wife Marcia were thrown off a life raft and drowned by one of 3 other men on the raft. The killer has been telling us his story as he fights the sea in a lifeboat. You remember that he just murdered Ivanov and is now heading for a Halifax-bound cargo ship.
This is your spite room, Mr. Grosser. Anything I can do for you?
No, thanks. Not just now. I'm going right to bed. When do we reach Halifax?
Tuesday morning, sir.
Yes.
Good night.
Thank you. Oh, wait. I'm afraid I'm rather a nervous traveler. Well, just between us, do we have competent officers aboard?
You're best, sir. Captain Jarms is tops.
Oh.
There's no better chief mate anywhere than Mr. Smythe, sir.
So he was there. I'd gone to a lot of trouble to get aboard that ship, and he was there. I kept out of his way entirely until last night. We were off the main shore. It was raining slightly. I slid the long, well-pointed bread knife into my sleeve and made my way toward the afterdeck. It lacked 3 minutes of 8 bells.
8 bells, Skipper. I'm going after a smoke.
There he was, just where he had been every night, smoking, leaning against the rail near the small lifeboat. I could barely see him. It was so dark. But I stole toward him a foot at a time. Now I held my breath. I was so close. Slowly, I brought my arms straight to my side, flexed my muscles, tensed for the thrust. I calculated the lunge. The cigarette told me where his mouth was. Then he turned his head a little, his cigarette flared and lit his face, and his eyes were on me.
I thought you'd look me up if I came to the same spot each night. Turning out to be quite a killer, aren't you?
How did you guess? Can you still hear me smile? Now nobody knows what happened on the life raft. Nobody. I'm free.
You fool. You'll never be free. The song will...
I dumped Smythe into one of the small boats and climbed in myself. I pushed out on the davits and lowered the boat to within a couple of feet of the water, and then climbed down the supporting ropes to it. I cut the ropes, and the black hull of the ship slid past. We were alone, just Smythe and me, and Smythe was dead. So I threw him overboard, and I was alone and free. And tonight, I'm alone and free. Hear me, Tom! Hear me! No. Am I going crazy? There can't be a light. Not a light. What? It is. It's a light. It's land. Rocks ahead. And the surf breaking against them. I'm close. Too close. I'm going to crash into them. The surf's picking up the boat and throwing me down the rocks. I'll be killed. No!
Wait, darling. I think I hear something outside.
What?
Stop a minute. I think I hear something.
You don't have to shout. What is it there?
Listen. Isn't that our door? Don't you hear pounding?
How could it be? This is a lighthouse, and who would come out to an island in this storm?
Just the same, I'm going to see.
All right, I'll go with you. Good heavens. What did he...
No. Not you. Stay away, Towel. Leave me alone. You're dead.
He's made it, Marshal. Here, give me a hand. We'll put him in the living room bunk.
Peter,
Yes?
how did he know our name? What did he mean by what he said?
He's changed a lot since we saw him last. Since I saw him last. He was on the life raft with us.
The Santa Margarita?
Yes. If I'd know him better than you would. You were ill. His name's Grasso. His was the last voice I heard before we fell overboard. Well, Mr. Grasso, you look a lot better this morning. How is your head?
It throbs. I can't move. What happened?
You were washed up against the rocks in a lifeboat.
Oh.
You must have hit your head and banged up your side.
You didn't drown.
Obviously. You didn't choke me thoroughly enough, Grasso. The water revived me. And I was clutching Marcia's dress.
Yes, but how did you...
Get here?
Yes.
Fishing boat. It was almost dawn when you tried to kill us. I managed to hold Marcia up for a little while. We were lucky.
What are you...
Here. Put your arm around my neck. I'll take you to the tower.
Where's your wife?
Marcia's gone to the mainland to get the doctor.
We're alone.
Yes. We're alone. Relax now.
No, let me go, Tal. I didn't mean to do it. I was crazy with hunger. And that tune of yours, we were all crazy, Tal. I'll pay you.
No,
I'll pay you.
It's too late, Grasso.
Anything.
Don't struggle. You could start a hemorrhage that way.
What are you going to do to me?
Why, nothing, of course.
What?
Here we are.
You're not bringing me up here for the sun and the air, Tall.
You'll be
Why?
very comfortable in this bed. Marcia liked it here. Wonderful view in every direction. These windows here pull to one side.
What?
Like this, see? Now, I'll leave you to rest.
No, don't!
Don't what, Grasso?
What? I don't know. But you're up to something.
Don't be silly. I'm just going to work on my music for a while. I'm having trouble with one part in it. It goes...
Huh?
Remember it, Grasso?
That's it. I see it now. Why, you...
You'll be safe here. I have this barred metal door here to keep saboteurs out. If you want anything, just talk. The acoustics are wonderful down these stairs. You can hear everything.
Talk. Oh, my head. I'll do anything. Anything. Only don't...
By the way, Grasso, I heard about Ivanov's murder on the radio the other day.
All right. I did it. I tried to kill you and your wife. I killed Ivanov. I killed Smythe. Get the police, but don't play that song.
In the top drawer of the table next to the bed is a loaded revolver.
Stop, Paul! Stop! My head. Stop! Can't go on. Revolver. God. Yeah. It'll stop it. Now I'll never hear that song again. Never. Play it! Play your melody, Tall! And the blaze is with you!
I forgot to tell you, Grasso. The gun is loaded with blanks.
There's still a way out. There's still a way out. All right. Tall, you win.
Hello? Oh. Hello, Marcia, darling. No, everything is fine now. Yes, there is something you can do for me. Send Davis a wire, will you? Just say, planned fall production of symphony. Have just finished final score.
Say, how would some boogie-woogie sound to you right now, hmm? I'd settle for a nice, cozy fife and drum corpse.
Now, stop that funny kind of talk, because I've got something important to say. Folks, tonight the Lipton Tea people have asked me to remind you that the goal of this 7th War Loan Drive is $14 billion. I guess sums like that are just too big for you and me to understand. But every one of those dollars has a purpose behind it, and that purpose is to end the war in the Pacific as quickly as possible. Yes, that $14 billion is needed to move our soldiers halfway around the globe, to build new ships and faster planes. We've promised our fighting men the very best weapons that can be made. That's the least we can do. And we're helping to fulfill that promise when we buy war bonds, when we support the 7th War Loan Drive with every penny we can spare. So, folks, Please buy all that you can when the Victory Volunteer comes to your house.
Sure, we got a moral for tonight's story. If you're thinking of marrying a musician, insist on a big house. Don't go in for this light housekeeping stuff. Oh, by the way, this month's Inner Sanctum mystery novel is The Right Red Hand by Joel Rogers. And listen to this. Our star next week will be the famous dramatic actor of stage and screen, Raymond Massey. He will appear in a story about a man who plays chess. Nice, quiet little sport, Except that our friend uses human beings for his chess pieces. And by the time the game is over, those pieces are just too dead to move. Now it's time to close the squeaking door until next Tuesday, when Lipton Tea and Lipton Soup bring you Raymond Massey and another Inner Sanctum mystery story directed by Hyman Brown. So, until then, good night. Pleasant dreams.
Folks, there's a modern food with an old-fashioned homemade flavor. It's Lipton's Noodle Soup. Yes, Lipton's does taste homemade. It's got that same chickeny taste as the chicken noodle soup you make right in your own kitchen. Lipton's has got the same good herbs and flavoring, the same tender golden egg noodles. But listen, Lipton's Noodle Soup Mix comes in an envelope, and it only takes a few minutes to prepare. Of course, sometimes it's hard to get in some stores these days, but there's lots of good things scarce in wartime. So remember to always ask for Lipton's Noodle Soup. And remember to tune in next Tuesday night for another Inner Sanctum Mystery.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
That's it for Strange Tales. You can find more from Inner Sanctum and thousands of other old-time radio episodes at relicradio.com. You'll also find past episodes of Strange Tales, all the other podcasts, our Shoutcast stream, and our donate button. It's how all of these shows are made possible. If you help support this show, you can get some downloadable sets for certain donation amounts, though any amount is always appreciated and helpful. Thanks to those who have helped out. Thanks for joining me today. Talk to you again next Sunday with another episode of Relic Radio's Strange Tales.